In the year 2147, humanity had sprawled across the stars like vines creeping over an ancient wall. The United Earth Federation, UEF, governed a network of colonies stretching from the dusty red plains of Mars to the icy rings of Saturn's moons and outward to the habitable worlds of Alpha Centauri and beyond. But not all colonies were created equal. Some were gleaming metropolises, fortified with orbital defenses and fleets of starships. Others, like Elysium 9, were fragile outposts on the fringes of known space, forgotten stepping stones in the grand march of progress. Elysium 9 orbited a dim red dwarf star in the Eridani sector, a planetoid barely larger than Earth's moon. Its surface was a patchwork of domed habitats clinging to barren rock, sustained by recycled air and hydroponic farms. The colony housed just over 5,000 souls, miners extracting rare isotopes from the crust, scientists studying exotic quantum phenomena in the low-gravity environment, and families who had traded the comforts of Earth for the promise of a new life. It was humanity's weakest world, undefended and isolated, with only a single outdated frigate in orbit for emergency evacuations. No one expected trouble here. The Eridani sector was a backwater, far from the trade routes and political flashpoints. Captain Elena Vasquez commanded the UEF outpost on Elysium 9. A veteran of the border skirmishes 2 decades prior, she had requested this posting to escape the bureaucracy of core worlds. At 52, with silver streaks in her dark hair and a prosthetic arm from a long-ago plasma burn, Elena found solace in the quiet routines of colony life. Her days were filled with overseeing supply runs, mediating disputes among the miners, and mentoring young officers like Lieutenant Marcus Hale, a wide-eyed recruit fresh from the academy on Luna. One crisp artificial morning, simulated by the dome's holographic skies, Elena's routine shattered. The colony's sensor array pinged with an anomaly, a fleet of unidentified vessels emerging from hyperspace at the system's edge. They were sleek, obsidian-black ships, their hulls rippling with an otherworldly energy field that defied known physics. Scans revealed no human signatures. These were alien. "Captain, they're not responding to hails," Marcus reported from the command center, his voice tight with fear. The room was a cramped pod buried under layers of regolith, filled with flickering holograms and the hum of life support systems. Elena leaned over the console, her prosthetic fingers tapping out commands. "Run the profiles against the database." "Pirates? Rogue AI?" "Negative, ma'am. These designs, they're not in any records. Energy signatures suggest advanced warp tech, but nothing like ours." The fleet numbered 20 ships, 10 cruisers bristling with what appeared to be particle cannons, flanked by smaller interceptors. They moved in perfect formation, accelerating toward Elysium 9 with predatory grace. Elena's mind raced. The nearest UEF reinforcements were weeks away, at maximum warp. Elysium 9 had no weapons beyond a few handheld lasers for asteroid defense. "Sound the evacuation alert," she ordered. "Get everyone to the frigate. We'll hold them off as long as we can." Sirens wailed through the domes, echoing off the curved, transparent steel walls. Families scrambled from their quarters, miners abandoned their drills, and scientists sealed their labs. Chaos reigned as shuttles ferried people to the orbiting frigate, the Endeavour. But Elena knew it was futile. The alien fleet would be upon them in hours. As the first alien ship entered visual range, a broadcast pierced the colony's comms, a guttural, synthesized voice speaking in fragmented English, pieced together from intercepted human transmissions. "We are the Vorith Collective. Your world is weak. Surrender resources. Resist and perish." The message looped, cold and impersonal. Elena stared at the hologram of the lead ship, a colossal behemoth shaped like a jagged claw, its surface alive with glowing runes. "Why us?" Marcus whispered. "We're nothing. No strategic value." Elena clenched her jaw. "Because we're easy prey. They think they can hit the weakest link and test our resolve." But the Vorith had underestimated humanity. Deep within Earth's archives, Buried under layers of classified protocols lay Project Aegis, a weapon born from the ashes of old wars. It wasn't a ship or a bomb. It was something far more insidious. And Elysium 9, for all its fragility, held a secret relay station linked directly to it. Far across the void, on Earth, the alert from Elysium 9 reached the UEF High Command in Geneva. Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka, a stoic man in his 70s with a face etched by decades of command, reviewed the data in a secure bunker. Vorath Collective, he muttered. Intelligence briefings had whispered of them. A nomadic empire from the Galactic Rim, conquerors who preyed on isolated worlds, stripping them of resources before vanishing into the stars. Activate Aegis, Tanaka ordered his aide. Target coordinates, Eridani sector. The aide hesitated. Sir, Aegis hasn't been deployed since the skirmishes. The ethical protocols. Overridden, Tanaka snapped. They targeted our weakest. Now they meet our strongest. Project Aegis was humanity's ultimate deterrent, a fusion of quantum computing, nanotechnology, and psionic amplification. Developed in secret after first contact with hostile species, it wasn't a physical weapon but a mimetic virus, a self-replicating idea engineered to infiltrate alien minds. Delivered via subspace carrier waves, it exploited universal constants in sentient neurology, rewriting thought patterns to induce paralysis, doubt, or, in extreme cases, self-destruction. The relay on Elysium 9 amplified the signal, turning the colony into an unwitting beacon. As the Vorath fleet closed in, the wave launched. On the lead Vorath ship, the Kragthul, Overlord Zyrak commanded from a throne of crystalline spikes. The Vorath were a hive-like species, tall and insectoid with chitinous exoskeletons and multifaceted eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence. Their collective mind linked them in a telepathic web, allowing flawless coordination. Zyrak's mandibles clicked in anticipation. Primitive world. Easy harvest. Extract isotopes. Eliminate resistance. The fleet's sensors swept Elysium 9, mapping defenses, or the lack thereof. Interceptors detached, streaking toward the planetoid like arrows. Then, the wave hit. It began as a whisper in the collective mind, a subtle dissonance, like static in a clear signal. Zyrak twitched, his antennae quivering. Anomaly detected. Subspace interference. Crew members faltered at their stations. One navigator chittered. Doubt. Why harvest? Inefficient. The mimetic virus spread, latching onto neural pathways. It wasn't brute force. It was insidious, planting seeds of questioning. Vorath society thrived on absolute unity, but Aegis exploited cracks. Individuals suppressed thoughts, buried resentments from the hive hierarchy. On Elysium 9, Elena watched the holograms as the alien interceptors veered off course. What the hell? Marcus exclaimed. They're scattering. The Endeavor had lifted off, crammed with evacuees, but now the aliens weren't pursuing. Instead, their formation fractured. The cruisers halted. Interceptors collided in mid-space. Aboard the Kragthul, chaos erupted. Zyrak's mind flooded with alien concepts. Freedom, individuality, rebellion. No. Collective is supreme, he roared, but his underlings turned on each other. A warrior cast member slashed at a drone, screaming, tyranny. End the Overlord. The virus amplified, drawing on the Vorath's own telepathy to accelerate propagation. Ships fired wildly, not at the colony, but at their own fleet. Particle beams lanced through hulls, explosions blooming in the void. Elena patched into the relay logs. It's Aegis, she breathed. High Command deployed it. Marcus paled. The Mind Killer? I thought it was a myth. Not a myth. Our strongest weapon. But God help us if it backfires. As the middle phase of the invasion unraveled, the story deepened into a tapestry of horror and revelation. The Vorath weren't mindless invaders. Scans from the Endeavor revealed their desperation. Their homeworld, ravaged by a stellar cataclysm, had forced them into nomadic predation. But Aegis didn't care for motives. It dismantled psyches indiscriminately. Zyrak, isolated in his command chamber, fought the infection. He severed his link to the collective, a painful act that left him alone for the first time in his life. Visions assaulted him. Human memories injected by the virus, scenes of Earth's history, wars, revolutions, unyielding resilience. "What are these creatures?" he gasped. "They weaponize thought itself." In a desperate bid, Zyrak broadcast a countersignal, attempting to rally his fleet. But the virus had mutated, adapting to Vorath neurology. Ships self-destructed, crews driven to madness. Only a handful escaped, warping away in disarray. Back on Elysium 9, the survivors emerged from shelters. The domes were intact, the frigate returned to orbit. Elena coordinated cleanup, salvaging debris from the wrecked alien vessels. Among the wreckage, they found data cores, records of the Vorath's plight. "This changes everything," Elena told Marcus as they pored over translations. "They're not conquerors by choice. Refugees, pushed to extremes." High Command arrived weeks later, a task force led by Admiral Tanaka himself. He debriefed Elena in the command center, his expression grave. "Aegis worked, but at what cost? We've exposed our hand. Other species will fear us now." Elena nodded, her prosthetic arm whirring softly. "And the Vorath? Survivors? A remnant fleet, scattered. We've opened channels for diplomacy, but trust will be a hard one." The ending came not with triumph, but reflection. Elysium 9, once the weakest link, became a symbol of humanity's duality, vulnerable yet formidable. Elena was promoted, but she chose to stay, rebuilding the colony into a fortified haven. In the stars, Zyrak wandered alone, his mind forever altered. The virus had burned out, leaving echoes of human tenacity. "They targeted our unity," he thought, "and revealed our fractures. Perhaps alliance?" Humanity's strongest weapon wasn't destruction, but the idea that even the mightiest could fall to a single, insidious thought. And in the vast cosmos, ideas were the true conquerors. Word count, 1,248. Wait, that's too short. I need to expand this significantly to reach 2,500 to 3,000 words. Let me flesh it out with more details, subplots, character development, and descriptive scenes. Expanded story. In the year 2147, humanity's reach extended like tendrils across the galaxy, a testament to ingenuity and ambition. The United Earth Federation had colonized over 100 worlds, from the verdant jungles of New Eden in the Centauri system to the methane seas of Titan. Yet, amid this expanse, Elysium 9 stood as a humble outlier. Orbiting the red dwarf star Eridani B, it was a rocky planetoid with thin atmosphere and relentless dust storms. Its 5,237 inhabitants lived under geodesic domes that dotted the surface like blisters on scarred skin. Miners delved into craters for iridium and quantum-stable isotopes, fuels for the warp drives that knit the Federation together. Scientists conducted experiments in zero-point energy, hoping to unlock unlimited power. Families, drawn by subsidies and dreams, raised children in simulated Earth environments, complete with holographic parks and artificial gravity wells. Captain Elena Vasquez had commanded the outpost for 5 years. Born in the sprawling arcologies of Mexico City, she joined the UEF Navy at 18, rising through ranks during the border skirmishes against a rogue AI collective known as the Silicon Horde. A plasma blast had claimed her left arm, replaced by a state-of-the-art prosthetic that interfaced directly with her nervous system. Now, at 52, she preferred the isolation of Elysium 9 to the political intrigue of Earth. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Hale, was her polar opposite, 28, idealistic, with a mop of blonde hair and a penchant for quoting ancient philosophers. Stoicism in the stars, he'd say, though Elena teased him for it. The day began like any other. Elena sipped synthetic coffee in her quarters, reviewing logs. The dome's lights mimicked dawn, casting golden hues over her Spartan room. A calm ping interrupted her. "Captain, anomaly on long-range sensors." She hurried to the command center, a buried vault reinforced against micrometeorites. Marcus and a team of technicians huddled around holograms. Multiple contacts, emerging from hyperspace at $0.50, Marcus reported. Not matching any UF signatures. Elena zoomed in. The ships were alien, sleek, angular, with hulls that absorbed light, rendering them nearly invisible against the starfield. Energy readings spiked. Exotic matter propulsion, weapons arrays that could vaporize a moon. Hail them on all frequencies, Elena ordered. No response. The fleet, 20 vessels strong, advanced steadily. 10 massive cruisers, each the size of a small city, led the way, supported by swarms of fighters. Panic rippled through the colony. Elena activated the emergency protocol. All personnel to evacuation points. Launch shuttles to the Endeavour. Priority: civilians first. The Endeavour was their only lifeline, an aging frigate docked in geosync orbit. It could hold the entire population, but barely. As sirens blared, families grabbed go-bags, miners sealed shafts to prevent collapses, and scientists backed up data. In the chaos, Elena's mind flashed to her daughter, Sophia, back on Earth. She hadn't seen her in years. "Focus," she muttered. The alien broadcast came then, hijacking comms. "We are the Vorith Collective. Your resources are required. Surrender or be eradicated." The voice was a chorus, layered with clicks and hisses, translated via some advanced AI. Marcus's face drained of color. Who are they? Elena recalled vague intel reports, whispers of a xenomorphic empire from the Outer Rim, hive-minded conquerors who assimilated worlds. "Why Elysium 9? A technician asked. "We're not worth it, because we're isolated," Elena said. "A test run. Hit the weak to gauge the strong." Unbeknownst to most, Elysium 9 hosted a classified asset, a subspace relay tied to Project Aegis. Buried in a shielded cavern, it was a black box, its purpose known only to Elena and High Command. Aegis was humanity's ace, developed after the skirmishes. It wasn't conventional, no missiles or lasers. It was a psychological weapon, an enoptionic virus that targeted sentient minds via quantum entanglement. Engineered by Earth's top neuroscientists and AI ethicists, it propagated through subspace, exploiting universal brainwave patterns to induce cognitive dissonance, fear, and ultimately, collapse. On Earth, in the UEF's subterranean HQ beneath the Alps, Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka received the distress signal. The war room buzzed with activity, holograms displaying the Vorith fleet. "Confirm identity," Tanaka said. "Vorith Collective, sir. Nomadic, aggressive. They've hit independent colonies before." Tanaka's eyes narrowed. "Deploy Aegis. Authorization code: Omega 7. His aide, a young major, hesitated. "Sir, the protocols require unanimous council approval. Aegis could be seen as a war crime, mind warfare." "The council isn't here," Tanaka replied. "They attacked first. Proceed." The signal beamed from Earth, amplified through relays across space, culminating at Elysium 9 station. It launched as the Vorith closed to weapons range. Aboard the Vorith flagship Kragthul, Overlord Zyrak oversaw the assault. The Vorith were evolved from insectoid ancestors, 7 feet tall with armored exoskeletons, for arms, and a telepathic hive link that ensured unity. Zyrak, larger than most, wore a crown of neural amplifiers. His species had fled their dying star system centuries ago, becoming raiders to survive. "This world is soft," he thought, shared with his subordinates. "Harvest the isotopes. Enslave the workers." Fighters deployed, lasers charging. Then the Aegis wave struck like a psychic storm. It started subtly, a niggling doubt in the hive mind. "Is this necessary?" one drone thought. The virus spread, rewriting synapses. Vorith unity, their greatest strength, became a liability as infected thoughts cascaded. Zyrak felt at first a foreign idea: individuality. His mandibles clacked in alarm. Isolate the anomaly. But it was too late. Warriors turned on drones, accusing them of weakness. Navigators miscalculated jumps, causing collisions. Cruisers fired errantly, hulls breaching. On Elysium 9, Elena monitored from a bunker. The Endeavour had launched, but she stayed with the skeleton crew to operate the relay. "Look," Marcus said, pointing to scans. Alien ships were in disarray, some exploding from internal sabotage. "It's working," Elena whispered. But horror crept in as they intercepted Vorath comms, screams of madness, pleas for mercy. The middle of the conflict unfolded over hours. A Vorath cruiser, the Vexnor, attempted a landing. Its troops, armored in energy shields, breached a dome. Elena led a defense team, lasers blazing in the low-grav corridors. "Hold the line," she shouted. A Vorath warrior charged, its claws slashing. Elena's prosthetic arm blocked, servos whining, then countered with a point-blank shot. The alien fell, but its dying thought leaked through a captured device. "Why, divide us?" Marcus dragged a wounded miner to safety. "Captain, they're not monsters. They're scared." Deeper scans from the relay revealed the Vorath's backstory, their homeworld destroyed by a supernova, billions lost. Survival had twisted them into conquerors. As Aegis intensified, the fleet fractured completely. Zyrak, in isolation, purged his neural links, surviving but alone. He accessed human data packets embedded in the virus, history of Earth's wars, the triumph over adversity. These humans, they weaponized despair, he realized. In a final act, Zyrak ordered a retreat. Only 5 ships escaped, warped to unknown coordinates. The aftermath on Elysium 9 was bittersweet. Casualties were minimal, 20 lost in the breach, but the psychological toll lingered. Elena coordinated repairs, domes resealed, mines reopened. When Tanaka's task force arrived, he commended her. "You saved the colony." "At what price?" Elena asked. "We broke their minds." Tanaka sighed. "Necessary. But we've initiated contact with the survivors. Perhaps peace." Zyrak, adrift, contemplated reform. The virus had planted seeds of change. The collective could evolve. Elysium 9 thrived, its weakness forged into strength. Humanity's weapon wasn't just Aegis, but the resilience to wield it wisely. In the stars, new alliances beckoned, born from the ashes of conflict.